Okay, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Dr. Osaze Joshua Baseki Osemege. Please, if you cannot hear us, check your audio. If you can hear me, just type yes, please. Let me see. You can hear me, just type yes. Just type yes. Excellent. So I want to believe if you can all hear me. So if you can't hear me, then the fault is most likely from your end. So do the needful by checking your audio and making sure that everything is set. However, we'll try as much as possible to send a recorded version of this program to the class. This is bringing to an end the training we've been having for some time now, for some days. And I'm going to talk specifically about cyber security. Yeah, we've had so many comments about the training on cyber security, but I need to let everybody know that we had a separate plan for cyber security. Nobody can do cyber security in just 2 days and become an expert. Even those that go to do it for months and years, they need to practice and really put into practice what they've learned to become experts, and they get better by the day. And we understand that perfectly well. So what we just did was to sensitize you about the possibility of you becoming a cybersecurity expert, the possibility of going into that area of profession, apart from your current profession or what you're doing. We just succeeded in making people understand that there are so many ways out of your current professional logjam. So if you studied physics, you can go into cybersecurity. It's just the passion, interest, and for you to know that it's possible. And January, we are setting aside 3 weeks, especially for people that are going to pay for their certificates. We're setting aside 3 weeks for them, all for free. They are not paying, to come out to become well-trained cybersecurity experts. And we're going to attach them to experts on Zoom, just the way we've been having our IELTS class for over a month. We're going to have them there, and we'll also give them letters of internship for them to do internship wherever they want to do their internship. So it's going to be a very big, huge one. Yet, we are not charging extra for that, apart from just getting your certificate that qualifies you to move on to that stage. So please, I just want that to be clear. Thank you very much. We may not be able to wait for others. It's about 7:07. In the next 3 minutes, we shall be moving. Yeah, we shall proceed in the next 3 minutes. Let me just remind everybody that they need to be here now. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we've sent in details about our guests and what they will be talking about this evening. We have a guest talking about cybersecurity. We have another talking about project management, and we have another guest talking about a familiar face talking about human resource management. They will do their best to further throw more light into what you've done already and take your questions as much as we can take. We've given you their profiles. Please do well to go back to the class to go through their profiles so that we don't waste more time here. And the next 1 minute, we'll be calling on Mr. Kelechi Anunobi to introduce himself. And the other two speakers will all follow suit. Introduce themselves, then we'll move on to the main program. Thank you. Let me just be sure that Mr. Kelechi can hear us and can speak. Mr. Kelechi, kindly unmute yourself, please. Okay, you're welcome. We will kindly introduce yourself briefly, just in 1 minute or two, so that we get to meet you.
Hello, good evening. Can anyone hear me?
Yes, go ahead. I can hear you. We can hear you.
Hello, can anyone hear me? Good evening.
Yes, go ahead. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, my name is Kelechi John Kenneth Anunobi. I'm the CEO founder of Mini, a tech company based in Abuja, Nigeria. We've been able to, basically build a world full of solutions. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. We are having serious issues with your audio from your end. I don't know why. Maybe you'll take some minutes to see if you can do some touch one or two things about your network from your end. Okay. Mr. Emmanuel Ogumbi, we would like to hear from you. Okay, sorry. Wonder Gold, if you are here, please kindly introduce yourself. Just 1 minute. Do that. You have your time very soon.
All right, thanks everyone. Good evening, Doctor. My name is Wonder. Good evening, everyone. I'm a project lead at Kaduna Enterprise Development Agency. But beyond that, I work for a development advisory firm and have handled a lot of project work along fast-moving consumer goods. I've advised and led projects in pharmaceuticals, and I'm currently leading one at the ongoing green economic zone somewhere in Maraban, Jos in Kaduna. So, good to be here. Thank you, everyone, for the opportunity.
Okay, thank you, Wonder Gold. You are not a stranger to our programs. Good to see you once again. It's Emmanuel Ogumbi. Okay, over to you, Mr. Emmanuel.
All right. Yeah, good evening, everyone. I'm glad to be here again. My name is Ogumbi Emmanuel, lead consultant, Annual Consulting. Annual Consulting is a chartered human resource management company, and we've been around for upward of 15 years. And by privilege, also chaired the board of trustees, Kaduna Customer Service School, Nigeria, and we've been doing some few things, including providing business development service provider for Kaduna State government under the MSMEs programs of the state. And we've also been doing some few things with National Emergency Management Agency in terms of capacity building and programs that has to do with capacity building and human capital development. Also for the state emergency management agencies. We are a friend of the house, and I think we just take it off from there. Thank you. Good evening.
Yeah, thank you very much. Except for Kelechi that is appearing here for the first time, though he's an in-house person with LaPlage. The others have been here before. Before we start properly, we have very simple rules we keep here. Mr. Peter, are you tired? We just started. Eh? Okay. You know, we have some very simple rules here, and I want you to take those rules, make it part of you, so that next time when you join a Zoom session anywhere in the world, you use those rules and people will mark you out as someone very special. Please do not eat on our program. That's very wrong, just like sitting in a classroom where your lecturer is teaching. Do not lie down while the program is on. And finally, be properly dressed. If you're not properly dressed, once we get to see you on video, we either exit you or mildly we can put off your video. And for those of you that can't hear, please check your audio. That's all. Thank you very much. Okay, let's move on straight to business of the day so that we can leave you on time. Mr. Kelechi, in just some few words, can you kindly just tell us what cybersecurity is all about? Okay, you can unmute yourself, sir. Yeah, Mr. Kelechi, we can't hear you, sir.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yeah, better. I can hear you now.
Hello?
Yes, go ahead. I can hear you.
Okay. Okay, thank you. I'll be discussing about, okay. Yeah, I'll be discussing about cybersecurity. Most of us basically should have a common knowledge in protecting our idea. I'll go with the definition of cybersecurity, which is we all know cybersecurity encompasses is just a practice or practices and technologies and processes designed, to protect computers, networks, data from unauthorized access, attacks, and damages. So when we look at what are the basic landscape threats for cybersecurity generally, we have threats which include the malware, phishing, ransomware, social engineering, and others. And what are the key components of this cybersecurity? When we're talking about key components of cybersecurity, like what are the basic, things that composes of cybersecurity? We talk about the network security, the endpoint security, identity and access management. Then we have data protection. So I will actually, discuss basically on each of them, just in a brief. We'll talk about network securities. Basically, when I talk about network, that is, the importance of security networks through firewall, intrusion detection systems, and encryption. When we talk about firewalls, we're talking about unauthorized access, through our networks, letting external persons having access through, our internal network. We have to block them through firewalls. Then we talk about encryption of data. We ensure that anytime in cybersecurity, anytime we need to protect our data, from external, users, when we encrypt them, we therefore, avoid people when people have access to our data. They will not be able to, decrypt them. It will be, safe. And in this our current world now, data is gold. It's gold and it's important. So when we talk about network security, also we talk about Wi-Fi. Most of us, publicly, we go to the airport, hotels, and we use, public Wi-Fi system. So we need to be sure, when we talk about cyber security, hackers can actually have access to to our devices, through public Wi-Fi, then for us to protect our data, we ensure that, sites or applications we use, are actually secured and encrypted, so that if we have somebody trying to have access to our information, they would not be able to see what we are doing. Then another component of cybersecurity, endpoint security. We talk about strategies whereby we secure our individual devices. When we talk about our laptops, mobile devices, basically all of us, we are connected to this application through either our phones, laptop, or tablet. We need when we talk about cybersecurity. We have to mitigate unauthorized access to our devices through antivirus solutions, end to end. Also, when we talk about endpoint security, we're talking about unauthorized access to our servers, So we want to ensure that we have antiviruses that is running on our devices, so that to prevent unauthorized access to our information, or people having access to our data, whereby stealing our financial information and hacking to our accounts. Then another component of cybersecurity, we talk about identity and access management. This highlight the role of strong authentication mechanisms and access control in preventing unauthorized access. Identity is when somebody, an access manager, somebody wants to hack into our password. That's why we are advised to always ensure that our password contains numbers and let me put it this way, alphanumerical words, and it should be long enough. Actually, I'm a programmer, and I'm also an ethical hacker, also ethical in quotes. It's easier to hack devices or people's password when their password is short. And you notice most people basically use either their names or what do you call it, or date of birth or something short. But when you use alphanumerical words with symbols in quotes, you give hackers tough time, or password, how would I put it, password generation applications tough time to decipher your passwords. Then another component of cybersecurity, talk about data protection. This is based on encryption and backup strategies to safeguard sensitive data from breaches and losses. For example, we need to protect our servers, our devices. We need to have a backup for it, and it should be encrypted. Recently, as at last month, sorry, my MacBook was stolen. So the next thing I did was to ensure, go to to my cloud this thing, and encrypt my data, and also lock the system. This also, being a cyber security person, this enables so that it won't get to an unauthorized persons. Then we go to another human factor in cybersecurity. It's very key. We look at human factors in cybersecurity, which is the most important thing, which are most important. Security cannot be complete as taught. Let's look at the components in human factors in cybersecurity. We look at security awareness. We have to educate each other, or even our staff, for those of us that have staff that work with us, in how to inculcate that cybersecurity awareness. We have to ensure that our staff don't just go around opening links anyhow. And recently, if you notice, most of us have our how will I put it, our Facebooks or WhatsApp, social media being hacked, because we are not actually, you will get a mail like, oh, you've won so amount or this, and we just go ahead and click, then give basic information to hackers, whereby enabling them access to not only our application but our organization's application. Now we go on to another factor for humans. Another issue with human is cyber security. We talk about phishing and social engineering. Now this is based on human psychology, and social engineering is a situation whereby somebody comes up and tell you, oh, you've won this thing, please, I'm going to call you, send a code. You send a code for you to get access to this. They go up and think about strategies in which they can actually lure you and get that bit of information from you, so that they don't need to get a lot, they just need to get that bit from you, that sensitive part of information from you, so that they can have access to your data, or use you as a point to get access to their, let's say, to their endpoint. Because if for example I want to get a B, and Mr. B is quite difficult, I know Mr. A have easy access to Mr. B, I'll just focus on trying to hack into Mr. A's device. From Mr. A device, then I can now pose as Mr. A to get access to Mr. B. Those are the human factor in cybersecurity. Now, what are the best practices? For, I don't want to go into, because of the time factor. What are the best practices for cybersecurity? We need to, ensure that our organizations have steady security audits, to assess the vulnerability of our devices, and our information, or information that is kept under us is safe and secure. It doesn't go out there. Another best practices is incident response planning. In this one, we ensure that the security incidents, how to manage, how will I put it, if data, in case if there's a breach, what are the plans, what are the mitigations, what are the plans, we call it business continuity. What happens if just like my device was stolen? What happened if something like that happened? Okay, what happened if a third party have an access to a particular server? What happened if your laptop was stolen? You need to have that business continuity. Those are the best practices. You need to think about that also. Also, we need to collaborate with other organizations, to ensure, okay, how do we best protect our how will I put it, our data or information from third party. Another thing also, to another best practice in cybersecurity is AI. Very key. And we are in the world of AI, and everything is growing at, how will I put, everything is growing in a geometrical rate. So we have AI and ML, machine learning, algorithm, and artificial intelligence that can help, in reducing or being able to detect cybersecurity threats. You can see sometimes when some mails are being sent, it goes to your spam. There's a reason for that. So for some mails to go to your junk or spam, that Google AI system, or let's say Hotmail and Co, able to detect, okay, this mail might be a phishing mail, so let it be spam, so that they help you, sort this for you to be able to protect yourself. And we also have IoT, that is Internet of Things. We ensure that Internet of Things is also used, to mitigate risks in in cybersecurity. You know, we have people using, how will I put it, a kind of key cards, you know, to prevent unauthorized access to a particular information. So you see, cybersecurity is very key. That's why even till today, there's a lot of organizations willing to pay a lot, because you see Tesla bringing up their latest Tesla truck, bring up the latest Tesla truck, and recently they are just recalling some of them due to, you know, how like due to hackers being able to access some parts of the information in the autopilot. And cybersecurity is key. You see the advent of Bitcoin went so high attack that they said it was from North Korea, you know, where people will hack into your devices and make sure that you don't have access to it. For you to have access to it, they'll tell you either they delete it or you pay some amount, which will be in Bitcoin, because definitely Bitcoin is not traceable. So in conclusion, cybersecurity is a responsibility that requires a collective effort to stay ahead of evolving cyber threats. You know, by understanding the fundamentals, adopting best practices, and remaining vigilant, we can navigate the digital frontier with confidence. Remember, cybersecurity is not a destination, but an ongoing journey. And our commitment to it is essential for a secure and resilient digital future. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Kelechi. There's no doubt that you've unloaded and we've taken in a lot of information that are very useful. I want to believe that we've been richly blessed and touched by this amount of information coming from you as an expert. Ladies and gentlemen, are you happy with the presentation? Just type yes. We want to see your reactions. Just type yes. I can see lots of yes. Excellent. Wow, somebody is even saying, Kelechi, thank you so much. Oh, I'm happy to see this. So this is basically what we've been talking about when we left the WhatsApp group, that everything will finally land on Zoom, where we put a human face to everything we've been learning. So if you didn't get it right on WhatsApp, you can get it right here. And we always want to let you know that this is just a starting point for you to move into a profession that is so exciting, has a lot of things in store for you. Okay, we will be taking just 5 questions. No, 3, sorry, 3 questions. Please raise up your hands if you want to ask any question. Just 3 persons so that we can move on to the next speaker. And I want to especially welcome and recognize the presence of participants from different countries: Ghana, Cameroon, Kenya, South Africa. I understand someone from US is also here. So many other countries I might not be able to call. And we might not be able to call all the names here, but we'll try as much as possible to see what we can cover. Please, for us to be able to take all the hands that are raised right now, your question should just be 30 seconds, straight to the point. Don't need to explain your question. Ask your question and that's all. Okay, Macintosh, over to you. Macintosh, easy.
Okay, good evening, everyone.
Yes, over.
Good evening, Doctor. It's a pleasure to be part of this program. And I've learned a lot during all the programs I've done with La Plage Metaverse.
Thank you.
You've mentioned one of the things I would like to ask a question about. Do I have a bit of foundation in cybersecurity and certified ethical hacking? You mentioned something. I just want you to reiterate what you mentioned about the thing you want to do for January for those who are taking cybersecurity course with La Plage Metaverse. Oh, okay. That's my question.
Okay. Yeah, what I said is that we know that cybersecurity is not just about talk and theory. It's more about being practical and having hands-on being hands-on on what to do and understanding what to do. So we are going to have an expert or have some experts work with us, and those people that will be paying for their certificate for 3 weeks, all for free. They are not going to pay for it. So, and it's just aimed at bringing out a new set of cybersecurity, not experts really, but you can call yourself an expert. It depends on your level. But we want to bring out a new set of people that can really start beating their chest that they are really into cybersecurity, because you'll be working in some of the best places in that area. So you'll be working with experts for 3 weeks. You might even have opportunity to do your internship. So as soon as you pay for your certificate and it's communicated to you, we have your emails, we have your phone number, you'll be getting emails from us as to the date and time. You'll be given enough notice. Yeah, thank you. I hope I've answered that question. Okay. Angela Amaifule.
Yes. Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Good evening, sir. Thank you very much for the wonderful presentation.
Thank you.
I'm Angela Amaifule. I have my question. The question is, please, sir, what is the most effective technique that one can use to be able to mitigate the attack of malware in a system, maybe in a computer resource, computer network, or in a cloud service? We are talking about real life. Most, we, as a student, many people, there are a lot of papers that have been written about detection of malware in the cloud service, detection of malware in the computer resource, maybe in a network system or in the storage system. Now, in the real life, what is the most effective technique that can be used to be able to mitigate any malware attack in the computer resource?
Okay, I think you've asked that question 3 times now. We've got to your question so that we can create room for others. Okay, Mr. Kelechi, are you there to respond to this? Mr. Kelechi, are you there? Okay, let me unmute you. Okay, over to you, Mr. Kelechi. You can unmute yourself, sir. Mr. Kelechi, you can unmute yourself. Okay, Mr. Kelechi, we're waiting for you to respond to that. We can't hear you. We can't hear Mr. Kelechi. Maybe you should unmute yourself again. Meanwhile, some of these questions, I will just advise you save them. If you are really interested in cybersecurity, that you save them till January, when you'll be in a real full-time class for 3 weeks, almost a month, and you take a full dive into cybersecurity. It's what Laplace is going to do for you for free. So just understand that. Okay, Mr. Kelechi, kindly unmute yourself and see if you can respond to that. Okay, since we can't get Mr. Kelechi to unmute himself or to talk, I think he's having network issues from his end. Maybe he's having some cyber attack too. Okay. Okay, can you hear us now? Can you speak out? Let's hear you, Mr. Kelechi. Can we hear him? I can't hear you, Mr. Kelechi. I think
you ask the question again.
Okay, yeah. Okay, what's the question again? She's asking how you can
mitigate
against malware.
I can hear you loud and clear.
Okay, she asked how you can mitigate against malware. Mr. Kelechi, can you hear me?
Okay, yeah, malware.
Yeah.
Yeah. One, malware can come endpoints security. You can mitigate. Yes, I can. I don't know if anybody can hear me.
Yeah, go ahead. I can hear you.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. You can mitigate malware by having an antivirus in your device. Because it's an endpoint. It's an endpoint, threat. It basically comes into your laptop, your mobile devices and servers, and it could come in different forms. There are some things most of us don't know. Some applications, we have some applications that are free for us to use. Like some games and go. And we wonder, how some of them in quotes, how these guys, making money, and why is it that I'm playing a game and the game is requiring access my contacts, requiring access to my we need to be careful kind of application we install on our devices. We need to be careful on what we out there, because there are a lot down there and you will see it won't tell you malware, but good antiviruses will be good. But recent operating systems of most devices, they come with inbuilt antivirus, but that is not enough. So we need to be careful how to mitigate it. Get an antivirus, ensure your antivirus is up to date, ensure your operating system is up to date. Operating system can be, your Android version or your iOS version. That will protect you from malware. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much.
And also be careful on what you download, the games, or install anything you don't know. Thanks.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Kelechi. I was just informed that we have participants from Iran, Ethiopia, and South Africa. You are also most welcome to this program. I think we might just take one more question because of the erratic audio from his end. We'll create a WhatsApp group for those of you that will be paying for your certificates. We'll create a WhatsApp group for you so that you can be in the same WhatsApp group with Mr. Kelechi. Hopefully, or whoever is going to anchor the program in January. Let me not say Mr. Kelechi because I have not discussed that with him. But it's very likely that he will be very, very much available to lend his support to this program. Thank you. Okay, one more person, Martins AC. Martins AEC. Please unmute yourself, Martins. Okay, I think Martins is not available. Let's move on to the next person. Please, this program is being recorded, so you don't have
Hello?
to.
Martin is talking.
Okay, straight to your question, please.
Yes, my question is based on what we have been taught on this cyber security, the theory, the lecture. How do I not go into the practical aspect, like ethical hacking? How do I go into the practical whereby I will be assured that yes, as a cybersecurity expert, I'll be able to do something practically, like encryption to
no, sir. Please just
all those terminologies.
Excuse me, sir. Please, you've asked your question. How do you go into the practical aspect? You don't need to explain further. We already understand the question, so we can save time.
Thanks.
Yeah, we've mentioned already that we are giving everybody that will earn their certificates from here 3 free weeks to be with an expert. In fact, you even have an opportunity to do your internship with that expert.
Okay.
Laplace is paying for that. I think we've explained that already.
Okay, I love that. I appreciate that.
So as soon as we finish this program, for those that we be paying for their certificates, which shows that they are interested in the program, we are going to put them in a separate WhatsApp group. And by January, we get back to them. Everybody will get emails or get text messages or WhatsApp messages as to what time we are going to start the program. Thank you.
That is awesome. Thanks.
Okay, thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, this is an interesting topic program. I know if you want to go ahead, we're not going to stop. And yes, Ekena Chiozogwa or whatever. You said 3 weeks is just to arouse the interest of people. Well, one thing we need to also learn to do in this part of the world, we need to learn to be grateful and appreciate anything that we get from people. Because for you to just make that kind of comment that 3 weeks is not enough, then you should also understand that this 3 weeks is not being paid for, is free. So I don't know what you are expecting. Maybe you should talk to the federal government to do that for you. But for I think we are really giving out what we think we should be doing. And we encourage other organizations, including the federal government, to do what we are doing. So for the little we are doing, please, I think we deserve to be appreciated. If you are not, I think a lot of others are doing. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, we've come to the end of this program for cybersecurity. I want to say special thank you to Mr. Kelechi. He's a friend and he's becoming a brother. And I can assure you that I will crave his indulgence to always come around us when we talk about cybersecurity. And you can be sure that you started charting a course for yourself as far as cybersecurity is concerned. Don't give up. Don't be worried. Don't complain too much. Just get focused. If you are already one, just see this as a refresher course and lend a helping hand to support others to become cybersecurity experts like you. But if you are not, please just see it as an opportunity for you to veer off from your current professional angle and chart a course in a new direction. Thank you, and God bless you, Mr. Kelechi, and thank you, everybody. Now we'll be moving on to Mr. Wonder. He's going to be talking about project management. We'll be giving him just 20 minutes to talk about project management. We'll take some questions for him, just like we did with Mr. Kelechi. I will strongly advise that if you are here because of cybersecurity, I would strongly advise that you stay put and also benefit from the project management class. So also the human resource management class. I'm also benefiting, and I want to believe that this will forever make a very serious positive mark in your life. So just take advantage of it. Whether you're going to get the certificate or not, just be part of it. Thank you. Okay, let's move over to Mr. Wonder. Mr. Wonder Gold Chinayem, you are welcome to this program, and we would like you to tell us about project management. Yes, we might not have the time to go into detailed project management. And unfortunately, a lot of people are asking for too much from us, both in terms of time and what we are charging. What we are basically doing is to conscientize you into knowing that things are possible for you. A lot of people never knew that they could ever become project managers. They think it's not possible except for engineers or architects. But our programs have made thousands of people worldwide to know that they can become project managers. And Mr. Kelechi, I want you to specifically hammer on that issue. What is project management? How can people become project managers? What does it take to become a project manager and all that? Thank you. Over to you, sir. Okay, over to you, Mr. Gold.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Doctor. And I'm going to try to be as precise as I can, just to confirm that everyone can hear me. Give me a thumbs up or something if you can hear me. I want to be sure.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, fine. Thank you. Thank you very much. Okay, so let me make this as granular as I can. So I want everyone to think of project management as a dream? Oh, first of all, let me just kind of define it. Like, so project management is basically about leading the processes towards the achievement of a project goal, right? So because we're saying project management, so project is like series of activities that lead to an end product, right? But just to get it very granular, let's think about it as, think of a project as a dream, right? So a project manager is more or less an interpreter of a dream. Just like an architect, you call an architect to your house. You want to build a house, but you just tell him, I want this. And then he goes and comes up with a plan, right? That's basically project management. So project management begins from the point of an ideation. What it means is that to be a project manager, you need to be somebody who ideates, because somebody's going to call you and tell you his dream, and your job is to interpret that dream in real time. That is basically project management. So project management is everything it takes for you to turn a dream into a reality. That's literally project management. I don't know if that's as simple as it can get, but just think about it from that aspect. And what it means is that some persons go to courses to take project management courses, and then some other persons just find themselves being thrust into the limelight. Like, you don't just know, you just, maybe one day in the middle of a meeting, they just say, okay, you, Mr. A, you're going to be, your job is to lead this team. You had never taken any training. You just found yourself thrust into the limelight, right? It happens. So there are many ways that you can become a project manager. But here's the thing. So I'm just going to talk to you about what can make a project manager. When you work for an organization goes out to go and hire somebody to do the job that you think you can do. What it means is, most times an organization has a dream that is higher than the people that it has to execute it. So it might need to go and hire someone. That's what most employees don't get, that the owners of organizations or the owners of empires are consistently dreaming. Now, when a man that owns your organization, or even you're a business owner, once you've dreamt up, what is going to make you look for a project manager is one of four things. One is that inherent capacity. You look around your team, your current team, you cannot see somebody that has that capacity to deliver the interpretation of your dream. Then you go out, you get. Number two is timelines. The person might have a capacity to do it, but you need someone that is going to write you a 3-page summary for a presentation you're going to make in a country, Malawi. You look at your team, nobody has it. You go outside, you hire a consultant. The third thing is, okay, you need like a specific expertise. Like I just mentioned, an architect, right? You're going to build a house, you're talking to people, but you needed somebody who has like technical knowledge, somebody who's been trained to do that thing. You get a consultant, you get a project manager from outside. The third one is, you need somebody, you're looking for innovation. Okay, there's a current way you people do these processes at work, and you need something new to come in, and you cannot find anybody on your team that is bringing that innovative insight. You go outside, you look. What does that tell you? A project manager is supposed to come with all of these three. One, you come with inherent capacity. You come with an ability to meet timelines. You come with a specific expertise. And then fourth of all, you are bringing innovative insight to the job. This is basically as granular as I can go to give you insight into what expertise, what project management expertise can be like, right? But just for the purpose of this class, so a project manager basically leads the project through every phase, right? What it means is that you're responsible for taking the project, first of all, to stakeholders. And there's this thing we say in my organization, that when you demonstrate considerable insight into a subject matter, what it means is that the person you're talking to begins to think of you as having the requisite capacity to execute it. So project management begins, first of all, from insight. The insight you give into a subject would determine whether somebody can trust you with the delivery. That is why it's very, very important for you to come with that subject matter expertise. First of all, you have the capacity to deliver. You have capacity to meet timelines, but you also have specific expertise to say, okay, fine, I have a certification here, or I've done this before. But there's an inherent capacity that you have where you're talking about a subject. Somebody hearing you knows that if you can, or rather the assumption is that if you can speak about this thing like this, it means you can do it. So you need to have built a capacity before somebody asks you to lead a project. Now, because you are going to be required to figure out all the tasks necessary. Now, as a project manager, you're going to draw up a budget. Most times, when you see what we call requests for proposals, RFPs, by maybe international organizations, what usually happens is they will tell you that you need to capture all of your project costs into that, you need to factor it into your budget. So you don't want to start the project and then 3 weeks into it, you come and tell them, oh, sorry, I didn't capture the price of tiles. Or, oh, sorry, the price of tiles is now 5,000 naira, but when I wrote it, it was 2,000. No, nobody wants to hear that, right? So it means that you must go the whole 9 yards of, say, okay, this is, you have insight into projections. Like when you talk about full planning and budgeting, right? A project manager must be able to do this. You plan, you budget, because once they've signed off on a contract, nobody's going to renege and come back and say, okay, let's review. Even though there are times in the project where you can renege or come back to do a budget review. And I'm just going to tell you 3 things why people can go back to do a project review at all, because there's what we call the iron triangle of project management, all right? The iron triangle of project management basically refers to 3 things: quality, time, and cost. Because a project manager is one that is trying to deliver results within a constraint. So you have 3 constraints basically in project management. The first one is quality. You have time. Okay, no, let me not say quality. Let me say you have the first one being time, you have your budget, and you have your scope. That's the triangle. Your time, that I remember I just mentioned that the timeline of delivery is a first factor, is a constraint in project management. The scope of the project, how big is it, right, becomes another constraint. Then the budget you have available. The 4th thing, which is not part of the triangle, but which all these 3 things revolve around, is quality. So quality, the quality delivery of a project cannot be compromised. That one doesn't move, is a constant. But the other 3 will be moving relative to quality. So for instance, if you want to sew a suit and you go to a tailor, if the event is tomorrow and you get a tailor that can sew that suit for you overnight, please don't expect the same kind of quality finishing as if you give him 1 month or 2 weeks at least. Do you get? That's how it moves. So quality should never move. If you want good quality, you must have time, you must have good time. So there are things that when you are negotiating your contract with the person giving you the project to manage, you cannot afford to compromise. So if he wants it in shorter time, he probably will need to increase the budget so that you are paying people to work overtime, right? Then sometimes you can say, okay, if the budget that is available is not so much, you now start reducing the scope. So if you were given a project to handle a building construction, to say, okay, build 5 blocks of classroom, and you told them that that project was going to cost 5 billion naira, for instance, and tells you, no, we don't have 5 billion naira, we have 3 billion naira. What does that mean? But out of these 3 constraints, you already know the first thing to shift, the first thing that has shifted here is cost. Your budget has been reduced. The next thing that will shift is your scope. Okay, if this is what you have, if I'm going to deliver a quality job, you would have to reduce the scope. So maybe we should not build 5 blocks of classrooms. Let's build 3 blocks of classrooms, or 3 residential buildings, 3 residential blocks. That's how it works. Because we don't have so much time, I'm just trying to make sure that I focus on what is most important. So I've said what it takes to be a project manager is that you must come with 4 things. I said capacity, your ability to deliver timely products, specific expertise in the field, and a capacity to bring innovative insight to the work. Because there's a certain level of iterativeness that's going to allow you to bring innovation. You know, innovation is not the same as creativity, because a lot of persons don't get it. You have signed a contract with someone to deliver a product. People get creative. Okay, it was supposed to take 5 weeks. We got it in 4 weeks. And what can we add? No, nobody's asking you to add anything. You know, innovation is, does it increase the capacity to solve a problem? Because every project is a problem-solving endeavor, right? So at the end of the day, you have solved the problem in probably like a limited amount of time. A creative person will start saying, we can add this. Like all those buildings where you meant to build 4 rooms. After you built 4 rooms, you saw that there was a flaw, there was some spare land. Then let's just add 1 extra room for visitors. It wasn't in the initial plan. You know, all of those things are not paid for. It's just you getting creative. But innovation is not creativity. Innovation is you bringing additional problem-solving capacity to the problem that is you are solving. You know, additional value addition. Let's think of it in terms of value addition. You understand? Because obviously we had iPod that could keep music for you, and then at some point they came up with iTunes. So now you don't even need to have it on your phone. Just it's online, it's virtual, you can play it. You know, anything to just reduce bulkiness. That's innovation. But creativity would have just been, okay, it was yellow. Can we change it to blue? Can we change the way the pack, the Coca-Cola bottle is? That's creativity, you know. But innovation is actually bringing something that adds value to the final user. So your project management skills is supposed to bring additional value at the end of the project. And because of that, you're going to need to play with task management tools, you know, task management, because effective project management actually requires effective task management. That means that a project is broken down into tasks. Okay, first we will write this, we plan how many days is it going to take us to make this building? What's going to come first? We're going to have to do excavations, we'll have to do some diggings, we'll have to create the lines, take the measures, you know, all of the projects from step to step. Now, there are some that you can just do off the top of your head. You're building a house, all the masons already know what needs to come. But there are some that need to be spelled out, because don't forget that your triple constraints, there's always time. Now, if you just allow the project to just go as it is, what are the chances that you're going to meet the time frame that you've been given? So to make sure that you are managing time, that's what brings about task management. Okay, this task, we're going to do it in 3 days. This task, we're going to do it in 4 days. This task, we're going to do it in 5 days. Afterwards, we'll rendezvous and review before we send in our final report. That's what project managers do. So project management is really about leading task management. And for some, you might need to get some task management tools that allows you to like create a to-do list. So for instance, we know like Google now, Google has Google Workspace, you know, that's like giving you a little bit of an insight into what project management is. Where I work, because we work collaboratively, most jobs are put on Google Drives. If it's an Excel document, it's on Google Drive. It's on Google Workspace. If it's a Word document, it's on Google Workspace. A PowerPoint document is on Google Workspace, so that everybody that's working on that document is seeing it in real time and they're working towards it. But there is a lead. There's somebody whose task it is to deliver that job, you know, and that person becomes the leader. So that means that at the root of any successful project is a project manager that is what is weight in gold. You know, most people think of a project manager's job as just to remind everybody about the deadlines and setup, but really that's not it. There's a science to what you do. It's more like innovation. You don't, when you find out that somebody is innovating, it means that the person is taking a wide-eyed view to business. Let me give you an example. So during the COVID lockdown, somebody came up with a hand wash that could be placed in public areas that was made out of these diesel drums. You cut the top, put a wash hand basin in it, and then there was a tap, you know, and then you could just come, turn on the tap and wash your hand. After a while, somebody thought about it and said, if the goal of this wash hand basin is for us to be washing our hands, it doesn't make sense that my hands are dirty or COVID invested. I touch the tap, wash my hand, then I touch the tap back again because I'm trying to close it. Then he said, no, there's an incongruity here. How about we put a pedal to this? You know, so they came up with putting a pedal to that drum so that you soft pedal and then the tap opens, you wash your hand. Afterwards, you soft pedal, you remove your leg and the tap goes off. You see, that's innovation. No, but the person wasn't sleeping in his room. He took a wide-eyed gaze at reality to find out what was wrong with current reality. That's what project managers do. I don't know if somebody getting me today. Let me get your insight. If just tell me a yes, no, if you're seeing what I'm saying, if you understand me, or making sense, please just give me some feedback. Thank you so much. All right, let me just quickly see if we can round this off. So just to talk about phases of project management. Project management literally has 5 phases. The first part is the project conception and initiation. I've already spoken about it. A project can start on 2 ways. One, your client can call you and say, I want to do this. Can you help me execute it? Or it can start with you being the one that tells him, write a proposal and say, we can help you do this. Remember I said, when you demonstrate sufficient insight, it's usually regarded as the demonstration of sufficient capacity to execute. So if you can be the one that, you are the project manager, but you are the one who initiates the project. So you write to superior authority and tell them we can do X, Y, Z, and then they tell you to come and do it. Or superior authority calls you and says, I want you to do so. When you arrange that project conception and initiation, the next thing is to define it and plan. Okay, to achieve this, what do we need to do? All of these first 2 phases can go into your project writing, into your proposal writing. Then you come to project 3, the 3rd phase, which is project launch and execution. So at project launch and execution, most times, this is where your client has agreed with you and they've given you funds and then you are going ahead. If you do these first 3 parts, you would have done the major part, but the first 3 parts are usually mostly theoretical. So you get to the 4th part, which is performance monitoring and control, or what you call monitoring and evaluation. So because it's a project, it's iterative. You have 5 months to deliver 5 blocks of classrooms. You need to be checking it every day, which is what brings us to the kinds of project management skills. We have what we call the waterfall model. We have the prototyping. If you are an app developer in tech, you need to do prototype. You can tell you, okay, create an app that can make money transfers. You do a prototype. You create one first. You sit down with the person who gave you the project, and you guys discuss. Say, okay, whether what he has told you is correct, whether what you've whether what you've delivered matches what he asked you to do. That's prototyping. When waterfall model, you have it's like saying there's a method to the madness. So there are step-by-step procedures that need to be followed to get to the end. And after each one, there is a review. So before you get to the end, you have cut out all the kind of mistakes. So because prototyping allows you to have made all the mistakes, you'd have done everything before you now come to review. But in waterfall, you check at each stage. So waterfall is sometimes you still have another name called the agile project, which is where you're also iterative and you're reviewing, So the 5th stage is project closer. So I'll start again. You have project conception and ideation, the initiation part. Then you have the planning, the project definition and planning. Say, okay, this is the scope. We are building 5 classrooms, not 4, not 6. You have defined your scope. Then you launch and execute. Then you continue to do monitoring and evaluation, monitoring performance and control. You're checking everybody. Okay, you're supposed to deliver this in 2 days. Why? You're behind schedule. Which is, most people start to think of a project manager's job at this 4th phase, but it's more than that. Project management starts from phase 1, where you're even conceiving the idea. Because how are you able to interpret somebody's dream? It means you too are a dreamer. You must have understood his thoughts so that when he says, I get it, this is what you want, this is what you want. So the 5th phase is the project closeout. At this point, because you have to understand whatever has a beginning must have an end. There is no project that doesn't have a timeline, that doesn't have a beginning and an end. And because there are ends, you must close your project at some point. So failed projects, uncompleted buildings are testimonies of projects that didn't close out. you know, and you don't want all of that. So these are the 5 phases. And then, of course, I don't need to spend so much time talking through it. Let me just see if I can talk to you about pitfalls. So, of course, there are maybe a few things you need to be thinking of as a project manager to avoid like certain pitfalls. There's what we call feature creep, you know, when a project manager adds something that is not requested, you know, they didn't ask you, but you just say in your mind, just like, I just felt like it should be there. No, you don't need to be doing all of that. There is a plan, there is a pattern that needs to be done. And if you must make any changes, please confer with the project owner, because there's a project owner before there's a project manager. That is why when you go to where they're building or doing reconstructions, you see something that looks like a signboard to tell you who the project owner, Kaduna State or Federal Capital Territory, then before it will now say who the contractor or the project manager in that case is. You know, so there's a project owner. You must always act with recourse to the project owner. So you're looking for performance, functionality, reliability, consistency, and suitability. Remember what I said. Creativity is not the same as innovation. Innovation is what you added to that project that made it more functional, not what you added to beautify it. Nobody's looking for beautification in their project. You understand? So I'd mentioned that there is an agile way of, there are 2 kinds of project management. So you have the waterfall model, you have the agile model. So agile model is used for continuous cycles, so small, so like what I explained the first time I said prototype, you get to the end, then you bring with review. But in waterfall, you do step by step, you get the requirements, you design, you implement, you verify, you maintain. There are there's a system to the madness, like I said. I hope you understand. Then one of the other pitfalls of projects is when people don't spend so much time planning. Like, I think there was an American president, I don't know if it's Abraham Lincoln, that was like, if he has 4 hours to cut a tree, he will spend the first 2 hours sharpening the knife. That is project planning. Most people don't do it. And some other person's smart goals, you know, you set timelines that are very unrealistic. You know, you are taking the project, you're telling the owner of the project that you can deliver in 3 weeks, when you clearly know that these things cannot be done. Then when the 3 week comes, you cannot deliver, you now start telling stories, you know. So thank you very much. I like this. Avoid project creep, you know, you're adding things not included in the prototype. And I love this person's feedback. So I think I should probably stop there, but just to say there is a scope statement, you need to have it, you give your breakdown, which is where you get the work breakdown schedule. We call it WBS. Then you can use like Gantt charts. You know, there's even this mirror board. I like to use it a lot. You know, it gives you like all of these notes pads that you just write stuff to it and all, so that there's a constant reminder, and create a communication plan where there is consistent feedback. Remember, nobody wants to get to the end of a project and find that you failed. Imagine having built, then you get to the end and find that one place was not curved properly. And then the next thing they're telling you, you have to break this place down. There's no way the project owner is going to be excited when you do such things. Let me stop here. Thank you very much for listening. Thank you, Doctor. I'll let you take off from here.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Kelechi. I said Kelechi, Mr. Wonder Gold. In fact, if I have my way, we'll just sit down and be listening to you talk throughout the whole night tomorrow morning. Because I'm also learning like every other person here. That was why I said, if you know you are here for cybersecurity, do yourself a lot of good to stay back and listen to this talk on project management. One way or the other is going to benefit your journey through cybersecurity, and I'm sure by now you perfectly understand what I was trying to say. Thank you, Mr. Gold. We are so much appreciative of your time and effort. It has been excellently put, and I can see comments we are seeing here. It's like people just wanted to go ahead, but we don't have all the time. We'll just take 3 questions, straight to the point, 30 seconds to ask a question. Please don't explain your question. And that's why it's called question. When you ask question and you start explaining the question, it's no longer a question. it becomes a comment and a contribution. So please, straight to the point. As much as possible. Okay. Anya Sunday Akeshore. Your question, please.
Good evening, sir,
Yeah.
and everyone in the house.
Yeah.
I am very excited for this lecture presented to us, and it has really motivated all of us who are in this group. My question is this, sir. How do we manage contradicting or conflicting demand when you give a proposal to run a project and you are making a project to be of a standard, then the project manager is not in line with the kind of standard you want to run the project? Thank you, sir.
Okay, over to you, Mr. Gold. Mr. Gold, are you there? Okay, let me. Okay, you can unmute yourself, sir, Mr. Gold.
Okay, all right, thanks. So that's why there are scope statements. Remember, I mentioned that a scope statement is a document that clearly defines the project, including your business needs, benefits, the objectives, and most importantly, the deliverables, including key milestones. Milestones, of course, are like, if you're traveling, you'll be seeing them 10 kilometers to Kaduna, 5 kilometers to Kaduna. Those are milestones, right? So in project, you need to have milestones. After 5 months, we need this building to have gotten to lintel level. After 6 months, we want it to have been roofed. After 7 months, we need it to have been graded and POP should have been fixed. Those are milestones. If you define this from the beginning of the project and have it written down contractually, I cannot see why a person should deviate from it, because most times your payment is tied to these milestones. Let me give you an example. As somebody who literally works with most people who call for bids and proposals from organizations, they would always tell you things like, so you have a project, you sign the contract, they'll ask you for an inception report, right? The beginning part, you've met the people, what did you do? After, then they will give you like a certain percentage of those funds for writing that inception report. Might be 20 or 25%. They will now tell you another milestone. When you get to so, we will pay you another 30%. So those fees are broken down to keep the project manager in check. You get, and I feel like in standard project management, this is how it actually is. Nobody pays you everything at the beginning and nobody pays you everything at the end. So you need some funds to run some stuff. That means that you need to have documented these things to say, this is the milestones I need to have achieved to end so. If a point comes and you see that you are conflicting, who is the person conflicting? If it is the project owner that is conflicting, remember I said there is an iron triangle. If you change the scope, you need to increase the budget and increase the time. You understand? That's if it's the project manager changing the scheme. But if it is you, that's if it's the project owner changing. But if it's you, the project manager, I don't see why you should be changing. You signed a contract to deliver stuff at a certain time, which is why you need to have a 360-degree view of the market forces playing with you, so that you do not ask for 20 naira today and then come back again to say, now, sorry, that thing was 30 naira. Most projects, they don't listen to you. That's why you must factor in your time, factor in the cost elements before you agree to a project. Thank you. I hope I've answered your question.
Thank you, Mr. Wonder Gold. I want to believe that Anya Sunday is okay with the response. Anya Sunday, are you there? Okay, I think yeah. So okay, we'll move on to somebody else. I'm trying to see if okay, Mercy Smart. Over to you.
Okay. Good evening, sirs. Good evening, everyone. Are you hearing me?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay, my question is, in the beginning or while Mr. Gold was talking, he said it's not good after you must have you keep coming back and forth to request for money and say it wasn't 90 naira, now it's 120 and all that. Sometimes you could be handling a project and prices with the way dollar is fluctuating and all that. How do you come back to stakeholders? Let's assume you've presented your project and you presented your budget, and along the line, the prices get higher than what you presented. At what stage do you come back to the stakeholders to tell them that, see, I will need more money, or I need to do this, or additional demands? I want to know how you can come back without offending them or without looking stupid. That's my question. Thank you.
Oh, okay. Mr. Wonder.
Thank you so much, man. That's a very beautiful question. So I keep giving examples with buildings because obviously I've worked in some project, and I think I recently was involved in the securing of a project under Agile. Agile is adolescent girls in learning. So they were going to just mobilize 20%, and this is a building project. And that whatever you sign ab initio is going to affect you if they don't give you as much as 60%. So what you can do, you understand the kind of project cycle you are leading. So what happens in this kind of case now where you are building a house, what you can do is to make sure that from the beginning, whatever is going to be in your profit, let it be what comes to you in the second tranche of payment. But your first tranche of payment, you're not looking to start profiting from there. So you can, for instance, the building project, what you do is collect as much as 60 to 65%, then buy all the building materials and have them warehoused. So you must factor warehousing and security into your plan, into your budget. You factor it, we put it, and then you go ahead building. Because if you don't do that, cement, I'm assuming, might be 5,000 today. By the time you come in a week, it will be 5,800. But what you quoted for was 5,000. You get? So the kind of contract you are signing should determine what you end up doing. That's my point. The kind of project. So you can, when you sign in a contract, you can put it there that maybe you need to bring fresh invoices after 2 or 3 months, or if you can get fresh invoices, or you'll be responsible for buying the materials while I oversee. You get that way, you're not having monetary issues. But because most of us want to make the funds from procurement, you start having like all of this back and forth. But for me, I feel that your knowledge of the market forces will play. If you understand the market of the kind of things you need, mostly if it's procurement, because that's where these kind of challenges have. If you have a contract that states deliverables, what everybody should deliver. You settle that part, you go ahead. If there's anybody trying to renege on the agreement, you can go back to the contract. There's nobody stopping you from quitting if you feel like you are being twisted or swindled, right? But if that change is coming from you, you must make sure that it's being captured in the project, that at some point we're expecting it, or you can even add it as a markup. Put a 20% markup, 30% markup tolerance. If you negotiate and it's agreed, fine. It's a tolerance level within which if there are increases in your things that you are trying to procure, you can always cover for it. Otherwise, always make sure it's captured in the initial document. But I find the fastest way to do it is to ensure that you have paid a reasonable sum ab initio so you can capture a whole lot of those procurements. And whatever you intend to make as profit, put it in your second tranche. That way, if anything changes, well, it's your money that shifted, not the project. Because remember, one thing that cannot change outside those iron triangles of constraints is quality. Whatever you do, you cannot change the goalpost for quality. It is sacrosanct. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Wonder. I think might just take one more question. Please, let's be very brief. And I also want to believe that Mr. Wonder will try to respond in just 1 minute so that we can move on to the human resource guest that will be talking to us about human resource management. Sorry, if you are Mr. User, please check my response to your comment and private chat me. Yes, I've sent you my WhatsApp number to also private chat me. It's very important, please. Thank you. I wish I can know your name. Let me see. Just a minute, please. Mr. User, can you unmute yourself?
Hello?
Okay. Mr. User, I just sent you my WhatsApp number. Did you get it?
Yes, I'm getting it.
Okay, please send me a WhatsApp chat so that we can talk about that now.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay. Okay, one more question, please, and we'll move ahead. Sherry Kiari.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
My own is not a question to the instructor. It's just a question to a participant who said that the instructor is dangerous, and that's Patrick Okwe. I don't understand what he means by the instructor is dangerous.
Okay, he's here to respond to it. I'm sure that was why he was trying to call me. I saw the comment too, but when I finished reading it, I knew that he was saying something nice in a bad way, but that was his own form of expressing that the instructor is too good. Let him answer for himself. Patrick, you're on the firing line. Please take your bullet.
All right. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. I'm so happy. I actually have been wanting to ask a question, but you've just answered the issue. I enjoyed the lecture. And it's like sometimes when I want to express how good somebody is, I might always say, "Guy, you were so dangerous. I love the way you lectured." It's my own way of expressing my happiness. But I have a question, yes, to ask the instructor for tonight. One of the issues I'm having is, what if you had made a quotation on a project, let's assume 20 billion, and then you submitted the quotation and no, there was no response. After like 6 months, the money now drops. And the price of things had changed completely. How will you reject the project, or can you go on with the project? Don't you think you would lose? How do you manage such projects? That the money didn't come immediately. It came after like 6 months.
Okay, noted. Over to you,
yes,
Wanda, please.
Okay. Thank you so much, Mr. Patrick. I understood when you said I was dangerous. I hope I am. Thank you. It just means that we've done a good job this morning. I'm grateful.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
We get those kind of projects. Even myself, I've faced those kind of projects. Now, here's the thing. Just you must protect yourself legally when you execute projects. I'm trying to emphasize that a lot, because it's not just the project managers that can be unscrupulous. Even the project owners can be unscrupulous at times, and you have to make sure that even though I understand that there's such a thing called variation, right, where you can put differences in price just as you anticipate prices to rise, right? Yeah. Even though I know you can do that, but for most people, when they call for bids, they will tell you that these bids should have a validity period, right?
Oh, okay.
Which means, so like this agile project I was talking about, they give you a validity period of, I think, 3 months, right? That, okay, because we know we are going to submit it to the World Bank or XYZ, and it might take time for it to go back and forth and come. So anything you put, so that put a 3-month change of price, what you anticipate, because within those 3 months, once it comes and is signed, nothing can change again. You too should be putting validity. So when you ask for invoice, pro forma invoices, you also should put your own validity. So the person is receiving it that Mr. Patrick wanted to execute, but he gave us these prices to say is going to be valid from now to 31st December. Once we enter 1st January 2024, it cannot be this price. So that if eventually the approval comes, that caveat was already there. And then you people can start speaking from that angle. I don't know if you get.
Yes,
because I know the guy is giving you that project is not like a masquerade that cannot be spoken to, and he's not living in an he's not living in mass. He lives on earth. He gets that things can change. So if I gave you a project quotation and it took you 6 months to approve it, you cannot be coming to me. What happens most times is that we cut corners in our bidding processes. Somebody in the government is trying to give us. So when the project eventually comes, you cannot even feel the pride to say no, because obviously somebody is just trying to help you. And you know that if you are saying no, there's somebody that is going to do it. But you and I would agree that most of those projects end up becoming substandard. You get, there's a price to pay. It's not as if you will end up delivering the project, but it will be substandard. But as ethical people that I think Laplace is building us to be, you cannot involve yourself in those projects. So my counsel would be, if they're not going to switch it or add variation to it, you can let it go. You understand?
But, sir,
Yeah.
sir, this is a challenge, sir. In most cases, if you have, like, let's assume like 4 or to 5 vendors bidding for the same project, and now you try to anticipate what those prices will be in the next 3 months, don't you think that you might miss that project because another person will give it less and will get the project instantly? Sometimes they might award the project instantly to the person that the least bidder, and you lose that in the project.
No, I get that. However, like for instance, I'll still use this agile project. They give you, for instance, they were building some schools and they give a price range. They say whatever you are bidding should be between 200 to 230 million for XYZ. You get?
Yes, sir.
So you will see that caveat. There's no, you know that the person that wins it at he had 200. You understand?
Yes, sir.
So between 200 to 230, they give you that window. Your job is to
Zara.
you get
Zara.
what they call it, you get your partners
Zara.
in supply, and you get your partner in the agency that is bidding. So you can always have your ears down to hear what's happening. You get, I find that to be very useful because management is really not always about money. You need to also learn to manage people and build relationships, which I know you are doing, right? So whoever is calling you to bid, particularly government projects, you'll be giving you insight into what you can bid that will make you get it. Your job now is to say, what can you tweak in this iron triangle of budget, cost, and time? Bearing in mind that what is getting you that contract and what will get you orders is your ability to stick to quality delivery. So one of those three will be tweaked. That's my counsel. I may not know it all. I believe that maybe in the house there might even be other experts, but over time we can talk about this. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Wonder. We so much appreciate your time. This is an excellent presentation. Yeah, especially from comments from participants. We want to say thank you for this. This program, Zoom is being recorded and we sent to the classroom for those that are not here. We'll be moving over to the HR person right now. We'll be talking about HR and we'll be taking some questions. We'll try as much as possible to end this program 9 on the dot. As much as possible, we'll try. Okay, thank you, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be moving over to Mr. Emmanuel Gumbi. We will not have time to ask him too much. We want him to go straight to tell us about human resource management, briefly, how we can become human resource managers. What is human resource management? How to become one, a human resource manager, and the route it will take you to become one, membership of CIPM and things like that. Those are the things we would like him to talk about, starting with what is human resource management. Just 2 minutes, 3 minutes, because we've done all that in the class already. Then what makes you a human resource manager, how to become one, and membership, professional membership. Thank you. Mr. Emmanuel Ogumbi, I want to believe you are around. Okay, just a minute. Let me see. Okay, let me just be sure that our guest speaker is still here with us, Mr. Emmanuel. Mr. Emmanuel, please just send me hi. Just type and send me hi on what, type me hi here, because I can't seem to find your name. Mr. Emmanuel. Just okay, thank you. We've sorted it out. He's here. Sorry, the name. Okay, Mr. Emmanuel, thank you very much. You've gotten the foundation. What is human resource management in just 2 minutes? What makes you one human resource manager? How to go into the profession and how to join a professional body. Thank you. Please, we have
Thank you, Doctor.
Yes, please, we have just 10 minutes to sort all this out, and we'll use the remaining 2 minutes to ask questions. And
Is that right? Thank you. Very quickly, just like we've been listening to the cyber security and project management, and very interestingly, it happens that the two subjects that have been discussed also has to do with people. But basically, to just go straight to the point, human resource management, as you all know, is a very familiar word, the word human resource, and of course, the management of it is a process. It's a process which I believe some of us are familiar with. It's a process whereby people are recruited in order to interpret and key into the goal and objective of every organization. Everywhere there is a business idea, everywhere there is a model kind of business to be carried out, there is a need for human capital to implement it. And so the simple term, we would say human resource management is the process of recruiting and deployment of people to carry out certain tasks in order to achieve corporate goals. Deployment of people, recruitment of people, acquisition of talent to carry out corporate goals. And this is a very strategic role in the act of human capital management. Very, very strategic role, because every organization has come with goals. There are corporate goals, and these corporate goals cannot be achieved without people. And that is why it's very important to get it right from onset. And particularly looking at the program that is being run currently, International Human Resource Management, the dimension that has come to it has given it a broad base. You know, international aspect of it has given it a broad base in such a way that when you are thinking of human capital development, human resource management internationally, it means there is a broader scope that must be covered in terms of recruitment, in terms of placement, in terms of compensation, in terms of deployment, and even reward system. And these are very, very critical to achieving corporate goal. Without getting your human capital right, it will be difficult to achieve corporate goal. For example, Mr. Wonder had just spoken about project management. And you know from A to Z of project management, you need people to implement these stages of project itself. And once you did not get it right, either formal or skill or unskilled labor, you are likely to have problem with the project. And so also is a corporate goal. Every organization has got a corporate decision, a corporate goal, a corporate target. And for you to achieve a corporate target, you must get your human capital right. And very quickly, as we talked about the human resource management internationally, this then takes us to the fact that for you to have exceptional human resource management internationally, you must be talking about, an international dimension to it. International means you begin to talk about the expatriate management, you begin to talk about international labor laws and regulations. This differs from one state to the other, differs from one country to the other. And so everyone who wants to practice in this field must be mindful of this dimension, particularly when it comes to international. HR is also a very strategic role. It's a very strategic aspect of corporate management, organizational management. It's a very strategic role because everything revolves around the people. Once the people are well managed, when you get the right talent and deploy the right talent strategically, you are heading towards achieving the corporate goal. And so this is very important. You also need to look at the performance management, rewarding system that will lead to excellent performance that will culminate into corporate achievement of the corporate goal. And these are very, very important. We talk of compensation and benefit. This also differs from one country to the other. And everyone who wants to practice in this field must bring into consideration the international dimension to human resource management. It's very important because the laws differs from terrain from one country to another. We talk about diversity, cultural diversity, and for you to have a robust corporate human capital management, there must be inclusion. Diversity, there must be integration of diversity, cultural diversity. Even in Nigeria, for example, we have organizations where you have different background, different culture, different orientation, and all of this must be integrated to tailored towards achieving corporate goals. That's why you see in ministries or banking sector, industries, we have people from different backgrounds coming to work to achieve the corporate goal. And the role of the HR is very, very strategic and critical in order to deploy these people, the human resource to achieve the corporate goal. Very, very important. There's an ethical aspect of it. There are rules guiding working environment. There are even rules guiding recruitment processes. For example, we are in an environment where there's a provision for disability, people with disability. You must consider these people. There are percentage of for in corporate organizations. So all of this inclusiveness must be put to play, must come to play when you are talking of human resource management, particularly international dimension. And this is very critical for us as professionals to be mindful of this, both local and internationally. You must understudy and have an understanding need and the deployment processes in such a way that the right people are put in the right place to achieve corporate goal. Now, very quickly, Doctor talked about how do you become one? How do you become one? I've said it on this platform before that there are different value chains available for human resource managers. There are different value chains available for human resource managers in the field of human capital management. You can decide to carve a niche for yourself in the area of training. You can decide to carve a niche for yourself in the area of global HR specialist. You can be a specialist in recruitment arena. You can decide to major in expatriate managers and expatriate sourcing. And recently we begin to have some experience in Nigeria where some organizations are, getting out of the country and all of that. These are what happens to the human capital base of this organization. Then what that means is that some people who have been working with them might need to go outside the country to work with them. And all of this must be considered in talent management. And of course, the aspect of talent acquisition is also very critical to be able to integrate the goal of the organization to the specific talent that is needed per time in every space of life of the business. And this is very, very critical and very, very strategic to achieving corporate goal through the people. One thing that is basic in human resource management is that the corporate agenda cannot be achieved without getting the right people, the right talent, and deploying the right compensation and benefit. The reward system must be robust in such a way that you can retain your best brain. One of the reasons why we have people exiting organizations today is that compensation are not commensurate with the input. And this is becoming very, very big concern. It's becoming a major concern to corporate organizations where best brain are being allowed to be put out of the company or corporate organizations, as it were. And so in order to retain your best brain, you must get the requisite knowledge in keeping the right hand and the right people within the business environment. And one other thing that is very important is to be a player in the field of HR. Yes, you could decide to diversify from discipline A to discipline B. For example, we have had in the past people who study, who have a different background and find themselves have to manage people. Thank God for the likes of Laplanche that has brought about this type of training. This basic training is preparing a foundation for anyone who wants to become a professional in the area of human resource management. And you can choose to carve a niche for yourself in specific areas. For example, you can dwell on training. You can choose to be a training consultant and major in training evaluation, training need evaluations, and presenting your capacity in that area and developing it. And you just channel your energy in developing human capital base of organizations, and you major at it. Some may be an outsourcing agent. You can be an outsourcing agent, a consultant, outsourcing, getting the right talent, create a talent pipeline in such a way that you supply talent, human capital need to organizations. And this can be developed to whatever level, even professionally. We have expatriate management. There are people who specializes in international recruitment. You can major in international recruitment, dealing with multinationals and blue chips organizations, whereby you provide human capital services for such organization and major around them. And in Nigeria today, we have a body regulating this, and that is the CIPM, as Doctor has mentioned. And in order to fit into the professional cadre of this professional body, all you need is, get in touch with the Laplanche or as it were, and you'll be rightly guided on how to be a member of CIPM. CIPM is the regulating body for human resource management in Nigeria, and you can choose to be part of it. You can choose to be part of this professional body and go through the exams, or you go through the practitioner's route. There are different routes by which you can become a member of this professional body, and you will be given the platform to develop yourself to a professional level in such a way that you can decide to key into an aspect of human resources. Human resource management is a very broad subject that you can narrow your energy into becoming one of such area, either in the area of recruitment processes. You can look at it, performance management. You can measure in performance management environment. You can measure in training, as I've said. You can measure in outsourcing. Today we have organizations that mainly provide staff. We have them in the banking sector. We have them in the manufacturing sector. We have them in different fields that outsource to organizations in order to, relieve them of the stress of having to manage a large base human capital workforce, as it were. And so these are different fields by which anybody can play in, and you can develop yourself in any of these fields. And before you know it, you grow from there. And maybe I'll just allow questions so that we can answer some specific questions as regards human resource management. But by and large, what is very important is that it is very strategic for every organization to get the aspect, very important, that you get the human resource management aspect of your organization management right. The moment it is not right, you are likely not to be able to achieve other operational activities within the system. And this is very important that we take note of that. Then maybe we just take some questions and answer specific because of time. I'm actually running for time. Doctor.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Emmanuel. As usual, you always do justice to every information that every subject matter put across to you as far as HR is concerned. Because of time, we might just take one or two questions, and you expect Mr. Emmanuel to also quickly manage the remaining 8 minutes to respond to your questions. Yeah. Okay. Want to listen to Bosede Amo. Please, madam, just within 5 seconds, just ask your question, please. Let's manage the time.
Yeah. Thank you very much. Thank you for this opportunity. The other time we had this training, I think we talked about this CIPM, and you said when we pay for certificates, we will be sent a mail or a message so that we can go through the route of joining the CIPM. We've been expecting that and we have not gotten it. That's just, I just want to prompt you again. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you for bringing this up. We'll go through our previous database of those that have gotten certificates from us, and we'll see how we can bring everybody together to discuss with Mr. Emmanuel on the possibility of becoming members of CIPM. So I think that will be done, hopefully before Christmas, but if not, then first in January, we'll do that. Okay. Salima Drame. Are you there? Okay, you're not there. Let's move on to Amo Messiah.
Yes, hello. Good evening.
Hello, please, I'm online.
Okay.
Okay, good evening to you all once again. My name is Messiah Amo from Ghana.
Okay.
I've enjoyed the lecture very well, and I think today Africa is facing staff attrition because of the migration of professional personnel to the other world for greener pastures. And this has become a headache to most HRs in Africa because the best ones over there are all going. So I would like to get a recommendation from our presenter on what he thinks could be best that HRs in Africa could adopt in order to retain staff, since the best ones are running out of the country.
All right. Doctor, can I go ahead?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. Yes. Just like is a global concern. It's a global concern, and basically there are so many activities that culminated into people exiting their jobs, and you have this attrition that we are all witnessing right now. You know, insecurity, economy. There are so many to it. As a matter of fact, there are people who have one of the best jobs, and they have to still leave, resign those jobs, and go outside for greener pasture to maybe European countries and all of that. As it were, one of the major things every organization is advised to do is to be competitive in compensation. Your compensation model must be competitive. Competitive in all aspects and in all sense of it. Compensation is key. People try to, what we call Japa in Nigeria, because they believe that there is a better life out there. And one of the things that we must be concerned about is that, you know, there are other activities that surround this aspect of, you know, brain drain. And we have insecurity is a major challenge in Africa. We have economy downturn in major countries in Africa. Even the big countries in Africa are also suffering it. And what is the best any organization can do is to be competitive in your compensation model. You know, your reward system, you know, job security is a very critical one. And, you know, once these are taken care of, then these are within the control. You know, unfortunately, there are other factors that are outside the control of corporate organization. For example, insecurity. Insecurity is a concern to every country, and most organizations cannot. The best they can do is provide coverage, probably for expatriates, and provide some level of security for top managers and all of that. But sometimes it doesn't go round. So the best any organization can do is to upgrade compensation in such a way that it is competitive. When it is competitive, then you may be able to retain some people who want to consider greener pasture outside Africa. But as it were, the problem is a complex one. It's a complex one. It's not just about the organization. Sometimes it's about the country, it's about the economy, it's about this governance system and all what have you. But one thing that organization can do at every point in time to retain the best talent and to retain the best hand is to make a reward system that is competitive. And I think that may just reduce attrition. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Manuel. I want to say a very big thank you for your time. Just to quickly add to what you just, your response to the last person that just asked this question, Amo Messiah. As individuals too, we also have to look at things from the spiritual angle, from our individual sociological angle, from political angle. We need to work on our own perception of the society, life generally, and all that. Because yes, outside might be more of a greener pasture, but when you still wonder why people after spending 30 years abroad want to come back home, home remains home. So for whatever it attracts you to come back 30 years after, should be strong enough to keep you here from leaving. But there's nothing wrong in migration and immigration. They are all things that have been there with the human race right from time immemorial. So it's just part of us. But when it becomes an issue that is detrimental to our development, then we need to take a very close look at it. And one of the things we can do, which is what we are trying to also do in Laplace, is to start making people to see various other means of surviving the harsh economy. We just talked about cyber securities, digitally securing yourself. Yes, just like Iman said, providing security in the society might be out of your control, then we can do so much as individuals to make our environment better. And let me just say something. If you have a community where everybody decides to make their environment beautiful, with parks, with gardens, music, and all that, within that very environment, everybody starts feeling at home, which is what we are beginning to lose big time in Africa. The place we are all running to right now, they took time to build their environment and make it beautiful and home for themselves. And that's why everybody wants to go there. Now, why are we not making our own home beautiful for ourselves? Remember, it is home. No matter what you do about it, if you are given a second passport in US tomorrow, there's an offense you will commit. I'm very, very sure your passport will be revoked and taken back from you. That is when you will now realize that no matter how well you are treated there, there's always that line that you will cross, and you'll be reminded that you have to go back to where you're coming from. So we must also start creating that consciousness in the mind of every African that we need to do something here in our home. Even if we decide to travel, home is home, because you must want to come back at the end of the day, and come back to where? To an environment you abandoned. So it's an issue that is very, very topical and cannot be discussed here in just some few minutes. Thank you, Mr. Emmanuel. We appreciate your time. An HR guru. I'm going to put everybody together in this class and previous classes, and we're going to talk about membership for CIPM. Mr. Emmanuel, please, we're going to talk about that. Very likely that should be in January, because I'm very tied up now with activities. So, but I want to promise you that I will do that. Thank you very much. Thank you, everybody. I want to say we appreciate you. We appreciate your time. And it's going to be an excellent moment with you again as we take up other courses. If you have not registered for our mental health level 2 and level 2 courses for public health, mental health, caregivers, it's an opportunity for you to do that now. It's going to come loaded, very, very highly loaded, unlike before. And it's going to be something that is going to be special. So if you know anyone that has not registered for it, please let them know that it's time. Laplace is doing that on Monday for the next, for 2 days, morning, afternoon, evenings. We'll be having that class at a stretch. Thank you. God bless you all. Yeah, as for your certificate, please, for those of you that were taught in your class, whoever administered the program in your class, please, that is the person you are going to pay through. Don't pay through any link you are not sure of. Remember, we just talked about cybersecurity. We cannot control who might want to defraud anybody. It's out of our control. It is your duty too to also be double sure before you make payment for certificate. And one of the easiest way to do it is that you are in a WhatsApp class and you are paying to the person that handled your class. And if you are not too sure, you can contact us through our email to be sure of the training. And we have a website. I expect everybody to go to our website. I expect everybody to go to our Facebook page so that you can communicate with us directly where you are not too sure of who you are dealing with, so that we have a situation where everybody will be happy getting the real product from the real persons. Thank you, and God bless you. And certificates will start being issued from tomorrow, please. Tomorrow evening, please make your payment for your certificates.
Guys, we thank you very much.
Yeah,
thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you
very much,
sir.
Thank you very much.
God bless you.
Thank you.
Thank you. That was a wonderful class.
Time to read up.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Greetings from Cameroon.
Greetings from Cameroon. Thank you very, very much. Glad to be part of the class.
God bless you all. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Wonderful class.
Thank you very much. Very resourceful. Thank you very, very much. Thank you. Various Ghanaians.
I've not paid for my certificate, but I will do that.
Thank you. Very much. Thank you.
Thank you.
that. I will do it.
Give us more time, oh. We need to read up. So many
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.
many things. Thank you. Good night.
Don't worry, time to read. Yes,
Don't
don't worry, time to read.
Bye-bye.
Bye. We'll send you the link to read.
This you calm me down on the last week.
Festus Alade, what are you saying?
Pasha,
You know,
I'm
this
just trying to check your
right
DM.
now we are doing AOB, so everybody can talk.
Enjoy the program. Oh, bless you.
Mr. Festus Alade wants to say something. I think he has existed.
Everybody come on now. That is